Good afternoon. This is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 515 North 3rd Street here in Jefferson. We're located at the rear of the home, just outside the slider to the living room area. It's a PVC clean out, but it's actually ABS with a 3-inch line. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Currently have water running. We're going to zero out at the foot counter right here. And the line bells out to 4-inch immediately. Now here at 50 feet, it looks like the line transitions over to a 4-inch concrete line that is in really rough condition. We'll have a better view here when the line is drained out. You got the thing shot with roots. It's got very, very heavy aggregate rock showing through. We'll locate that here in a minute when the line's drained out.
Okay.
I just punched it out of the way here. You have basically 100% blockage with roots there at that point. We'll get this entire concrete section here mapped out for repair. This stuff is ready for update. It was ready for update a long time ago. And here at 63 feet, it appears we have reached the main lateral connection. We're going to let the whole line drain out for a moment while we go locate. We're going to map the entire concrete section out. I would contact the city. It's possible they only updated the line up to where the homeowner is responsible for. But if the city's responsible for that end of it, I highly recommend you contact them because that concrete section is shot. If I hadn't ran my camera through there, you basically had 100% blockage due to roots. Right, I'm picking up it's kind of a wonky signal here because my camera is pitched at such a hard angle, but the line's going out to the street where the driveway goes out to, and we're not actually in the roadway. That looks like the main is running up and down kind of the right-of-way area. So I'm going to locate it as best I can. For some reason, my camera there is I can't pick up an accurate signal. I think it's because the angle my camera has. We're going to locate here at the top of this. I recommend all of the concrete pipe be updated. The stuff is just destroyed at this point. You've got root intrusions throughout, and the concrete's just falling apart. It's so old and worn out. All right, I guesstimated where the main was. I put a T marking out there. I'm lined pretty well up with the manhole down the street at the intersection. But I've also put a marking here. We're 6 feet deep. By the time you hit the end of the line, you're probably closer to somewhere around 7.5 to 8 feet, just based on how much further it drops after that point. But we're marking this with white paint. Yeah, this one right here is especially the concerning one. This I had to punch my camera through. There was a complete blockage there. So you're likely to get a backup in this line if you don't get this updated. You got a minor amount of standing water right here. what I would recommend. I'd like to see it out of there. If this weren't new construction and it was a 5-10-year-old house, I'd barely even mention this, but because this is continuous with the concrete portion of the sewer line, I'd recommend fixing that grade if possible. I'll start the markings right here, and it looks like you've got a secondary clean out that ties in right here. And we're marked here at 47 feet. This is right next to the valve cover box that's covering up the clean out access. Again, not the world's craziest belly by a long shot. I'd like to see it dealt with when you're already doing all that repair work right next to it. I highly recommend rescoping the sewer line after the repair is finished up. Make sure that everything looks good, especially when you're cutting into new and old pipe where they meet together. I don't want to see that belly get worse. It happens a lot during repairs. The soil gets undermined and you end up with a larger belly, or a belly in general. I've got the whole section here mapped out with white paint. Starts right at the secondary cleanout. That's that secondary cleanout that makes me think that this concrete section is likely city responsibility, because generally you'll only have a secondary one if the city takes over at the right of way, or two if you've got a line that spans over 100 feet and you need to have one by code. So I would contact the city or the builder. Recommend this entire section of concrete be updated, as well as correcting this. It's, again, very minor belly. I'd like to see it out of there if possible, especially when lines are this new. Most lines settle instantaneously after they're buried or within the first few days, but I have seen them progress over, especially that first year they're buried in the ground. By and large, they usually don't progress and get worse, but when someone's doing a repair right there, that's what makes me nervous, is that in the process of digging that thing up, that's going to get undermined and potentially belly out even more. And that is ranging there. That's all under dirt and gravel. Starts right where the bark test meets the gravel area. And it ranges from around 2.5 feet to, again, the best depth I can get or deepest is 6 feet. At the main, given how the line drops, I think you're somewhere around 7.5 feet or so deep by the time you're at the main. That little stringy thing hanging down up top there just appears to be excess pipe glue or something of that nature. That does not appear to be a root. Alright, we're going to go ahead and roll the camera out of the line. All the ABS pipe here we've scoped today all appears to be in good condition, has good flow, and is functioning properly at this time. The concrete portion of the sewer line is completely shot and ready for update. I highly recommend rescoping the sewer line after any repairs are done, and make sure that if it's not me out here doing it, make sure that rescope has water running on it and then the water turning off. That will show you whether or not the line bellied out during the installation. You don't want a sewer video that's dry. That doesn't show you anything.